Greetings from Italia. I'm Lil Bones, and someone asked me to create a version of the Redstone puzzle that's probably on the screen now, which allowed you to make a puzzle revolving around 3 states. I believe I used 3 different colours for pistons pushing up blocks so you could only jump onto them. It was just a small prototype, but someone asked how to actually make it and whether we will make a video. And I may as well make a video, so what you're seeing now is a very compact version of that system. However, this one here uses 3 memory latches, not 2, because that system there had a limit of 4 states, and here is a limit of 8 states, and you can obviously, I'll show you in a minute, but you can obviously make it so you can have 3 states, 4 states, 5 states, however many you want, up to 8 with this current system, and I will attempt to do a full memory latch system allowing you to have up to 16 states if you actually want that to be around. Now, one additional thing I should note is that I do have a 32-bit integer which you can use, although it's not for this kind of action. It is very good if you want to have some sort of line that has 32 states. Right, okay, so let's start with just explaining you how it works, and the fact that you can download this in the description along with the schematic download. So, firstly, we have here 3 memory latches, coloured red, green and blue. Now these 3 memory latches here represent 1 bit each, so they have either 1 or 2 values, either on or they're off, and they're all hooked into this part here which is input. And input, basically, using these torches here, it will basically turn on the line underneath, creating a current down to the memory latch, turning it either on or off. And I believe the torches, if I look down here, yes, the torches are next to the off line, these torches here are, and obviously the one without torches is the on line. So here and now, if I only want blue to be on, I power this line, and what it will do is it will turn blue on, so it will turn blue on there, and then it will turn green off, and it will turn red off. So that there is basically input. Rather simple. It has 2 sets of memory latches either side, so technically it takes 2 ticks to get it out, but I've seen the system around quite a bit, and that be starting of teaching me how to do it. Right, okay, next is this part here, which is read, which actually is a little bit messy, but I can't seem to think of a way of actually making it more tidy. Firstly, all the outputs from the memory latches need to come into one straight state, into the state over here, which is this here is a 2-stage AND gate. Basically, there's an AND gate here, red, black, green, another AND gate here, green, black, blue, and they feed into a master one over here. Basically, if everything here is on, that line will turn on, and then all you do is you change what state happens behind it. Now, it's quite complicated to understand, maybe, but if you really want to know how to do it, I'll explain how you actually make this in a minute. Now, I then send all these 3 lines across in this kind of axis all the way along to make 8 different versions of that same AND gate, and then I differ how they are sent. That's one here will only allow that line to be on if everything here is off. Alright, yeah, if everything here is off. And obviously this one here does reverse and so forth. And you can see here, colour codes are entered in as well. So you know at every stage what colour code refers to what. Now, when you go from the output, so basically these here are your lines then go to your pistons or whatever, we then need to put the input in. Now, you could technically erase from over there all the way down to here and just have it so you press one button and it could, in this case, turn blue and green on. However, the state in that one there had one single button, notably this button here now, which when pressed would toggle to the next one. So if you see over there, it's just toggled from that one to that one, and it will just go around and loop at the end. Now as we're coming now, so we'll just click the state to the new. Right, now this system over here, basically I need to get all these lines down here in an ordered manner, and then get a line from the button. So basically over here is a similar system over there, where you have AND gates all in a big line. This block here, this grey block here is not really required, but either way. And this yellow block here is the input from the button. So basically it's saying if this line is on, this line here which is green, and the button is on, light up this line. And this line over here then, we'll say, we'll do the next one now. We've got green, we'll go do red. And then obviously then the last one, this one over here, when nothing is on, it will then turn on the first one. So if I now go over here and try this, it should just rotate amongst all of them. And this system here is fairly quick, and it doesn't actually, one of the issues I had before with the 32 memory latch was that because it was just individual AND gates made up for everything, there was a state where it would flick it between different states. However, this one doesn't, because they've all got the same amount of AND gates down here, and virtually the same amount of ticks. Now, what have I got left to do? Okay, so this here is basically downloadable in the description, and I can teach you. Well, I've already told you how to use it. All you would do is hook up all these. So one more thing, this part here is not required. It's just a little grey block thing here. But if you wanted to create another amount of states other than 8, you take the line here, which is the nothing on line, and you want to light this up to something else. So you'd never really, unless you wanted 2 states, in which case you could just use a memory latch and a simple AND gate, you'd never really want to ignite this one. But if, let's say, you wanted just them 2 states now, and you dehoop that on there, obviously, because if you don't, then it's going to activate on there. Now right, something's not going to work here, or is it? Yes, it is. Will that work? Right, okay, that there's going to toggle through them all. So give me 1 moment, just let that toggle through them all, until we get to the point where we're actually going to ignite the grey one, and then it'll just loop amongst, I think, 3 states, this current system will. So, almost there now. We're on the all colours on. Now, well, that's not going on to. This one here now is going on to 2 states, basically. See? All on, all off. All on, all off. Now if you wanted more states, break this line here and hook it up to another one, basically. So now it should be 3 states. 1. And that didn't work. That did not work. Oh, right, okay. Make sure that the redstone actually gets there. Right, and then 2, and then 3. So that's fine, we'll go to there. And obviously if you wanted 4, you would hook onto this line instead. This line right here. 5, 6, 7, and 8, you would just leave it alone, / making sure that this line is hooked up. So basically you can choose any number of states up to 8. And like I said before, I might do another version, because basically the more memory latches you add, you times it by 2, so the next one along is a 16 state, and next one along there is a 32 state, but obviously it's going to get dramatically bigger as you do that. Now, I'm going to teach you how to build this now. This is going to be, as you might have noticed on the screen currently, there are annotations and various buttons you can press to skip amongst sections if you've already done sections or if you need to find your place again. So I'm going to build this on this world somewhere, let's see, I'm going to build it over there, I think. Yeah, let's build it over, actually no, best off, yeah, okay. I'm going to grab these blocks here by middle clicking, by the way, it's a very useful thing that is. Just grab some of these blocks so I can start doing this. I'm going to start building it just over here, and I might end up toggling back occasionally. So, first, let me just go onto my little document on the side, make sure I'm not going to lose myself here. Yes. Firstly, we're going to do input then. So, let's do the memory latches then. So, I put a blue block here, torch on both of them, both singling toward each other, and then hook them up like that. That there is your very basic memory latch. Now, you need to hook up a line from this one and a line from the other one. Like that, simply put. Now, over there, I left a 10 block gap, and I guess that's probably the best system then. So let's leave a 10 block gap between the two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now there is a 10 block gap from that piece of redstone there. So with that in mind, this is where this piece should be. I'll just turn, wrong button. I'll just turn it today. Right, like so, and then put another memory latch right here. And then I'll do that again, and this time I'll do it with the red one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, oh wait no, slightly wrong there. This line needs to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And destroy all that lot. And make another memory latch right here. Now, this system of putting 10 in between, it seemed to be okay, because it seemed to put enough gap in between them all in order to be able to do the next stages. Okay, so like that, and then feed the line down this way, feed the line down this way. Now, the gap you're leaving now between the memory latches and the input, not really too important. I think I left about, looks about 5, so let's just say 5, shall we? So, keeping that in mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's start here then, shall we? Grab this one, grab a black block. Well, I'm grabbing a black block here. And I'm just going to make a vertical line all the way across to at least the end. Now, additionally, you're going to want to make sure you put a little bit of redstone here so you know whether the memory latch is on or off. And additionally, you might want to grab a button and bring it on both sides, because that way then you can manually flick this then. Okie dokie. So back to input from all this. Now, what you're going to do, I'm going to do first, I'm going to put a redstone torch up there just to make sure that you can actually get to the end. And you're going to get a situation like this now, where it doesn't power enough. So, you're probably going to bung on 2 repeaters onto here. Repeaters like that, and until the very end, which is there. Now, you're going to need to decide as well which one's on, which one's off. That's very simply done just by doing that. And I think, let me just erase this a second. Yeah, I think because the system is the same as the one on there. The one on the, if you're looking at the input from the memory latch, the one on the left is your on, the one on your right is your off. So this is red. I'll actually replace these blocks, make everything all nicely colour coded. I should show you my Sony Vegas menu media bin system sometime if you want to see some real organisation. And I'm just going to bung a torch on there. And then I'm going to do the same again with green, like so. And bung a green block here. Remember we need to replace the redstone on top. If you don't replace redstone on top, then it's going to do absolutely nothing. So jump up a second, and I'll put redstone there and there. And do the same again, same with blue. So 1 and 2, and then I've bung on redstone there, redstone there. I'm going to get torch there, so now, this is going to be repeated 8 times, leaving an increment of 1, meaning that you are going to do the next one with a gap there. Now, one additional thing that needs to be rectified is that you need to make sure that the current can get there. So let's see how many this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I start this one down here a second, and I bung a torch here, can that signal get all the way to the memory latch? That's probably going to be no. See? It's going to be no. So we're going to put a redstone repeater just where the signal dies from the 8th line. And because there's only 3 memory latches, you can only have up to 8, because that's just the system of it. Now, I'm going to probably fast forward a bit of video of me making the other 8. So, see. Okay, welcome back. This is the current system now with the input side of things. Now, make sure you have memory latches. Well, I had to put them in the same place, but at least make sure that the current can get to the very end block, at the very least. And the fact that there's a torch here is imperative. There needs to be a torch on the very end block. So in other words, this line here needs to be permanently powered. What we're going to be doing is putting torches on here, and obviously it's going to reverse the signal. So that if we press this here, when we signal this end here, this line will turn off. Therefore then these torches, or torch in this case, will turn on. Therefore changing the memory latches. Now, let me think of the next thing now. Yes, we need to connect all of these up now. And that there simply means I've got to, not do that, but I've got to place redstone down all the way along. And I probably should have done this before I placed the coloured blocks there, but basically I have to make sure that this can go all the way to the very end, just underneath our input lines. Because this here is what's going to have to be signalled in order to create an input. Now, in order to keep organised and so you don't actually forget things, I'm going to grab a grey piece of wool instead of a black piece of wool. We're going to enter in all of our combinations. So this one here will, for all intents and purposes, be blue. This one will be green. This one will be red. So like that. So the combination, as you can see, is not just willy-nilly. I put them in the correct location depending on where they actually are positioned from each other. So, and then green here and red there, and then blue and red is the next one, and then all on, finalising with all off. Now, you can put buttons on all of these for the moment, so that way then you can switch to any of these whenever you want to. Now, we're going to do the input completely now. So remember this torch I said to put on the right hand side one if you're looking at it from the memory latches. That there's going to be our off, and the one without is going to be our on. So here and now, they want the red memory latch to be off, and we want the green memory latch to be off, and we want the blue one to be on. So in theory now, if we press this button, only blue should be on. See? Only blue is on. Now we do the same again. So red is that one, green that one, and green turn on, and then red means blue is off. So blue is on that one. I should really have put torches all the way along here, but either way. Right, red means this first one needs to be on, the next one needs to be off, and the next one needs to be off. And you do this all the way along. If you're unsure about this stage, just try them all out and then take a look at what comes out. Okay, so now we're going to do read, and I always call this read because basically it is taking what states these memory latches are in and turning it into the lines that you want out, the output. And this is done by sending all the lines down to one end and then transferring them across vertically. So let's just turn to day very quickly. Where are we? There we go. Now I'm going to send them all down that way. It's that line down there. So let's grab the first one here. Let's just move them down a bit so we've got a little more room, and then move them out. So that there is going to be our first line. Now we want the second line to also to be like that. You can power it by using the button that I told you to stick on both memory latches. Now this part here might be a bit awkward, but don't worry too much about that. In fact, I can probably put one there so that way then it doesn't. Now the reason why you power it is so then you know that the redstone is going to make it this far. And use again to red here, so I want to make sure it's got at least one gap between two, or else they'll start draining up like that. So power them up there and keep them going. And there's depower down there, so we'll just put another repeater down here. Now you could probably, if you wanted to make it all even, you could probably just stick 3 there so they're all equally powered now. Now let's make the first memory latch, because this is kind of important to the rest of the items. So here and now, this line over here is red, this line over here is green, this line over here is blue. We'll put create one in the middle, shall we? Doesn't matter too much what colour combination you have, just because it's a bit more structured if you do it this way now. It's raining. Let's just turn it off. Now, I think I've made just about left enough room for me to be able to do this, so that's good. And this here is technically, although it looks like one construction, is technically 2 AND gates. An AND gate between red and green and blue, making sure they're all on. Now what we need to do is we need to do another AND gate, which will decipher whether they're all on, not just the 2 combinations. So do another AND gate here. By the way, it's a torch on the top, redstone on the top here, do not forget that, and the torch coming out as the output. And you power the block directly. Don't go doing any of that nonsense or else it won't work. So this line over here then, let's make this line over here, needs to go out by 2 repeaters. This line here does. Now not all the way, because I don't use all of it, but it's about a repeater in I think 5 blocks it needs to go out with, but we'll come to that conclusion later on. Now, we have to do the next line. So in order to do the next line, we need everything to move across. So let's grab the blue one here. Yeah, let's put the blue one down here. So we make another blue. Maybe not there actually. It'll start to mess up things. Alright, so we make the blue one here. I'm going to take him over the top. So this system here does require a little bit of vertical space, but not too much. If you have a 4 high one, then it's not going to take too much space. Right, let's just bung a repeater up here. Not get that? Yes, it does get there. So let's put that blue one there. Now let's do the next one, which is actually green. Let's take him from here, shall we? And basically, make sure that you've got enough room for the AND gate down here to be able to put a reverse block, which is basically a block with a torch like that. You need enough space to be able to do that. Here and now, we have enough space. And then we grab the red one and just take that straight across, put him down here, and power him up. It is a bit hard to see redstone on red, so it's probably not the best colour in the world to do with, but so soon. Right. Let's put that on there, colour code still, and we do the same again. Another memory gate, AND gate, and then we'll torch in the front and feed it into another one. And this here is also just simply the way of being able to, in like programming and things, you can very easily just put AND in front of everything. This here is the redstone equivalent of AND. Alright, so now we continue this pattern on. As you can see down here, the pattern continues consecutively all the way along. We need to continue that down here, so I'm going to probably skip a bit of the video and continue this system on. Okay, so this is the end result then. This here is 8 continual outputs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one way you can tell it actually all works is that all the lines are on. Right, a couple of key things here. I colour code all the memory latches, and gates rather, to the memory latches. And the torch on the top, torch on the other side, redstone on the top, torch coming out as an output. Essentially this just repeated once over. Doesn't matter too much about the colour coding of the ones I'm jumping on currently because it's not going to relate to anything yet. Now what does matter, however, is that the order that you chose down here to do them all in reflects the order that these here are going to be set at. Now this does actually matter quite a bit, so it starts with me with blue, so I'm going to make this one here blue. So let's choose the output down here somewhere. Doesn't matter too much because provided you put, I think I'm going to use about 5 or 6 blocks at the end. So if I put blue here, I'm guessing I went with green. Did I go with green? I did. I went with green here. So I'm now going to basically colour code the output ground here using wool. and then I used a little bit of red to end it. So this here basically now is now reading all the memory latches and coming up with an output. Unfortunately though, all the outputs are the exact same. So let's now program in it to only read this to be blue. Now the way it's there is we will reverse everything other than the one we want to be on. So let's reverse red and green. So these two on here, let's reverse them. Now this one should be off, and if you go down here and test this out, I think that was right, what I said before, only this one is now on. It's not extended down here. Let's just extend that. Okay, so basically, look down there, or there if you prefer, and figure out which one needs to be on, and stick memory latches on the ones that need to be off. No, latches, reverse gates. Oh right, I made a small mistake here actually. Quite a moronic mistake. That was the reason why I wasn't making properly. Make sure that the lines are actually connected to what you think they're connected to and not just any lines. Two hash. Basically blue is now this line, green's this line, red's this line. Well, yeah, that works now. I was being a bit moronic. Okay, so now I'll try it again. Fair dues. All works. Now, at this stage here, if you so wished, you could make it so that you can make, I don't know, a combination lock or whatever you want, because you've got your inputs here, and you've got your outputs over there. This here is 2/3 of the system currently. Now, with the other system, what I did was I made it so that you press one button, and then it basically cycles through everything. So here now it's on all on. Press it again, you'll be on all off. And it does that quite quickly. So the way you do that there is firstly you need to establish a button line. So let's just establish a button line. I want it to be a fair distance away from the memory latch so it doesn't collide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll probably do. 5 in between, not 5 away. I'm going to put a button on the end of this. So let's put the button on this, like that, and then cycle it all the way down. Now, I'm going to cycle this all the way down, well, move this all the way down here to about here. Just here, that might be far enough. So it goes quite a distance, but that should be fine. If you ever want to be able to test to see how far the redstone actually goes, by the way, to replace whatever bit of repeaters or signal you got with a torch. That would actually work, but I just don't. It's not very good. Okay. So we've got 2 onto here. And now this system here is practically the same as the AND gates over there. So I want to put this here. Let's grab another block. That works now. And that block there. Let's use this coordinate system. It doesn't matter too much, provided you know what the system is with what happens. Now, that there's now sending a signal, that button there. We're going to grab a line from the off signal and bring it down to there. Now let's just turn everything off. Like so. So that way then we can see where the line dies and pick it up again. Now this here is basically going to be an AND gate. I'm going to put a torch in the ground, not on the actual memory latch. So we're going to hook up this here to the very first line. Now basically what this means is, if everything's all off, in other words, the signal's all the way down there, send it back to the beginning. And the reason why you put a torch here is so you can test it. So now the torch up here, they'll still be on because the button's been tested up here. Send a line all the way down there. So, but let's just do that. So that area is not on anymore. So if we now attempt to toggle this, press this rod. Oh right, more on Scott. You no longer need these buttons. Place the button with the redstone. Now I should simply equal to the first one. It's done. Equal to blue. Now you do this again. Now leaving a gap of 1, you take out this redstone piece, this redstone bit here, take it over all this malarkey, and over this malarkey, like so. Then down into that black block at the end. I'm just going to turn on where the line is. That line is all on. I'm going to turn on all on. Okay, so that line is now all on. And you need to mirror match here. Mirror match here. Rest of the video here. You're gonna hear me stutter quite a bit on this. It's quite a lot of taking from me. Now that line there is on. And now I'm going to take this all the way down to the end and to the all off thing over here. So if on is on, turn it all off. So in other words, we're essentially going in that direction. It's a very poorly drawn arrow, in that direction. All the way along. So this one here is down here. One of these on. Let's bung one of those on. And then place it properly. Now, in order to make it to that, you don't have to have loads of redstone back here. I'm going to nick a line from this button. Excuse me. Try back here. And then take it to another middle section. Right. Stick it above. So there's going to be a gap here. Another black, another red, another white, another black, just like that. So it's going to go into this red block here. Now there's going to be a line here, isn't it? So I'm going to make sure it doesn't interfere with that line. So I'm going to go above that line there, and then continue down to the red. Placing these on here, just good practice. Now, this line over here needs to become the next one. So again, it's a lot of repeating. You've got to repeat this about 8 times. And I'm going to possibly just walk you through the entire thing. Well, at least until it gets repeatable. So we walk this all the way back, across everything, with leaving a 1 gap in the middle, across to the next one along. Like so. Wait, that's the right one. Yes, that's the right one. Let's now turn on that one. So that one there is 1 on, the rest of them. Yes, it is. Let's just turn it to 30 seconds. Run the redstone repeater there. Follow it along. The one there apparently, and that makes that one there. And then we do this again. The signals along here, and that becomes a little bit of a mishmash, sort of crossover business, leading to an odd triangular sort of shape in a minute. We're going to signal it to the next one along, basically, which means crossing over this line, like so. It's probably an easier way of doing this stage, actually, to be honest with you. Probably easier way of doing this stage here, but either way. Here now. Okay, so destroy that one there. Don't forget the redstone on top. And both of them here. I'm just going to wire in the next one whilst I'm doing this. Okay, so I think I'm done. I had a little bit of an issue with leaving too much gap between one of them, but that was all. Make sure that your lines all stay on as well. This is the reason why we need it to be as long as it is, because you need enough room over here to be able to get this line here, something on that now, to the end, and also ripple round meaning at the very 8th line has moved quite a far distance from the memory latch, so you need to make sure you do put the repeaters in this line as I said before. Now, that might not make any sense to you, but either way. So, now, I think it's done, so let me just test it first. So we're on the end one, now we're on the green one. Let's cycle all the way through. Now we're on the red one. Now we're on that one. Now we're on the other one, and finally it will be on the last one. It's actually fairly quick. I think this might be slightly quicker than the other one actually. Anyway, it's slightly smaller, and the other one's over there. I don't know which one's smaller compact. Either way, both of these versions are very compact. Both these, this is the real download you'll see in the description. Now, if you want to know again, or be reminded again how to make less states than 8, all you do is you take the line from the end one here, this end line, and you will connect it up to as many lines down this way as you want. So if you connect it up to, if you disconnect it on there first, don't just get it up, choose do it. If you get up to the line that does this, for instance, making sure that actually gets there, and then start tooling, you'll essentially make yourself a 2-state memory latch, or a flip-flop, but just a very huge flip-flop. If you then take it to the next one, you'll then get 3 states. Next one's here. So next one's now 3 states. Now take it to one with a hole in the middle. And the second one. Then the last one. And there we go. Simply put, the more you go along, the more states you will get. So, this is available as a schematic and a world download. Let me check my notes, make sure I haven't missed anything that might be imperative to all this. No, I don't think I have. Try to keep the colour coding absolute though, just because that way then if you come down here to decode it, you're going to come into a few issues. Additionally, if you want to see a 16 version of this, leave a comment or like this video, and seconded to that, if you want to see a 32 version, you can always look at my 32-bit integer, but if you want, sorry, 32-bit integer, but if you want an actual version like this, so it tuples properly and does it timely and more neat than that version was, then comment again and I'll get right onto it. So please rate, comment, subscribe. Please go over to my main channel, the Lord Bones, which is probably on the screen now, and you'll see a bunch of adventure maps and various things that I do, including making my own adventure map, which could be seen on that channel. So that is everything, I think. Talk next time.